Kara Shalom. Welcome to our watercolor journey. A few years ago, Heinrich and I went to this quaint little village called Muju in South Korea where we lived at the time. We were absolute newbies, so we were not prepared for how devastatingly cold it could be. We took a 17-minute cable car trip to the top of the mountain, and it was minus 11 degrees Celsius with a deadly wind. Our clothes were not nearly warm enough, but the view from that mountain more than made up for it. This scene reminds me so much of that day, so let's paint it together. The materials used are listed in the description below. On the palette we have Ultramarine Light, Sepia, Viridian, Yellow Ochre and Quinacridone Scarlet. The Canson paper is taped to a flat board. This is a premix of Ultramarine Light and Sepia. It makes a lovely soft grey that is perfect for cloudy skies. He uses the Rosemary & Co. Sable blend number 7 brush to add the paint wet on dry, and then uses water to soften the edges and disperse the paint. He then adds some more ultramarine light and some water to mix the paints on the paper. He will continue with these colors to paint the sky. This painting is very loose, so most of the elements are suggestive. He mixes Viridian with a touch of Sepia to tone the brightness down and give the green a more earthy tone. He starts adding the trees in the background. The sky area is damp and the rest of the paper is dry. He doesn't use a lot of paint to start with, so the trees there are not very distinct. They blend nicely into the sky area to create distance. For a variation in color, he adds some of the gray mix to the trees. He uses the gray mix to create some shadows in the snow in the foreground. The lines are not straight. Some are diagonal to give variation in the terrain. Where the paper is still wet, the paint disperses a bit into feathery edges. This brings a nice contrast to the hard edges of some of the trees. He adds a bit of yellow ochre to create warmth, which will bring these trees slightly forward. He uses sepia to ground all the trees and to create a shadow line. To soften some of the hard lines, he uses a bit of water. Here he adds some ultramarine light to get a darker value into the trees for the shadows. He continues to use the variety of colors on the palette to fill out the trees and to build the values. He paints a few greyish-brown spots to resemble footsteps that lead the eye towards the two figures. The figures are not painted exactly. These are mere suggestions. He adds shadows to ground them. It seems that they are standing on a little hill and looking down into a valley. He adds a touch of Scarlet to bring in a slight color variation and to create interest. This is the Rosemary & Co. rigger, which he uses to draw the trunks of the trees. He adds a few lone grasses to bring a bit of life into the foreground. He adds some detail to the trees in the background, but because they are far away, the details are few and not very distinctive. To bring back some light and to enhance the snowy effect, he uses white gouache. To finish off the painting, he adds a little bit of detail to the grasses in the foreground and a few shadow lines for the trees. Please do us a favor and comment on this video. It really helps us a lot. You are also welcome to share your paintings with us on Instagram. We look forward to seeing them. Thank you for watching. We hope to see you soon. Vaya con Dios.